Brian Friedman, the Israeli election is over. So what does that mean for investors?
Well, so far, it's been accepted by the Israeli market as a very bullish sign. And I think that the key is potential stability in the coalition. But most importantly, there's a smaller party named the Kulanu Party, headed by a man named Moshe Kahlon, who has won 10 seats. That is a very pro-economic, pro-structural reform party. And they have proven to be the kingmaker in this coalition, and they are likely to promote the kind of structural reform that's going to generate very nice economic growth over the long run for Israel.
How much should security concerns weigh on investors with regard to Israel? Is there a geopolitical premium in Israeli stocks?
Well, it's interesting because there's actually a geopolitical discount, and it's actually a permanent discount. So because of that discount and general fear about many global investors and their reluctance to bring capital to Israel, the irony is that when you actually look at the behavior of the Israeli market during conflicts like last summer or in 2006, the market has a very muted response because there's not a lot of capital that was there anyway because of that discount. And almost always, in a very short period of time after the initiation of the hostilities, the market rebounds. So there is a permanent discount, but it leads to the kinds of outstanding valuations that we like to take advantage of at Israel Investment Advisors in our equity fund.
Technology is a clear leader in Israel. Why don't you talk about what's hot right now from a technology standpoint?
Well, it's interesting. There's been a real technology rebound in Israel. Israeli technology often trades similarly to the NASDAQ and US technology. It's been quite broad-based. However, obviously there's certain categories that have been hot: cybersecurity, everything that's connected to software. Those are the areas in the market that have been very good. From our vantage point, we're more of a value-oriented investor. We like our companies to have solid cash flow and reasonable valuations. It makes us a little more contrarian. So we've been looking in some of the areas that are actually a little less hot, like telecommunications equipment, for example. But nonetheless, in general, the market's been performing quite well since the election.
And what about Teva? Are you finding any value in Teva? Because that makes up a big part of any Israeli-based index.
Absolutely. In fact, out of the $200 billion in Israeli market cap, just 3 companies, Teva Pharmaceuticals, Israel Chemicals, and Checkpoint Technologies, make up a third of Israeli market cap, which is why our more active strategy, we want to look under that hood. Teva is a bit of a conundrum because on the one hand, they're facing some serious potential competitive threat as they lose patent protection for their #1 drug called Copaxone for MS. That drug is protected to a certain extent because of an issue around what they call biosimilar in order to get a generic copy, but nobody's come on the market yet. I think it's highly likely they'll face competition and profit erosion, which is one of the reasons that buying an Israeli index may be problematic if you're interested in putting your investment dollars to work in Israel.
And then finally, speaking of Israeli indexes, the other big players are the banks, Leumi and Hapoalim. You have a view on these?
Yes. In fact, they've been performing quite well, which is somewhat surprising, because I just mentioned a minute ago this Moshe Kahlon and the Kulanu Party. Their #1 platform was that they were going to try to break the cartel, the bank cartel in Israel, by bringing in more competition. Ironically, the Israeli banks have been rising despite that, probably because, frankly, the odds of new competition coming anytime soon are low. And in addition, it's highly likely that all of the other reforms will continue to accelerate economic growth and bring Israel back onto, up to its potential. So the banks look quite good to me, and I think that the market after the election agrees.
All right. Thanks a lot, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching The Street.